Okay, now that we have a completed line art, let's take the wheels and the detail layer and merge them together. That way, we only have one layer for our final line art. So let's click and drag and merge with below. And now we can click and drag again to rename that layer, and let's call it line art. And click OK. Let's move it to center it just a little bit. And now let's lower the opacity of our side view layer so that way we can see the final line art more clearly. Now let's create our color layer. Let's go to Add New Layer, click and hold to access the layer tools. Go to Rename Layer, and let's name that Color. Click OK. After that, go to the Move Layer option, click and hold, and drag it to move it underneath the line art. The reason why is because we are going to change the layer blending mode of the line art. To change that, click on the right arrow and change it until it becomes multiply. What this will do is as we begin to paint on the color layer, the line art will still show through. Now that we have done that, let's make sure the marker tool is selected, and let's figure out which color scheme we want to use from our Copic library. I think for this bike, I'm going to choose the blue color scheme. Now that we have selected our color scheme for the bike, let's choose some of the value ranges from light to dark. So using the Copic library, I'm going to click on 4 values. I'm going to use a light value, a medium value, a dark value, and let's use the purple one as well. So now I have established my full range of colors that I'm going to use to paint this bike. To make it a little bit more interesting, let's click on a warmer color scheme and select one warm color that we can use for the bike as well. Now that we have this, we are now ready to paint our bike. Make sure the color layer is selected, and we are now ready to paint over our bike. To sample a color, hold down Alt and make sure you hover over the color that you would like and simply click. Then you can use that color to paint with. If you would need to adjust the size, again, you can use the bracket symbols on your keyboard to adjust the size. Do not worry about painting inside the lines because we can simply go to the eraser tool and erase if need be. Use the eraser tool to erase any unwanted color that you may have put down on the canvas. If you are having trouble painting with inside the lines, you can also use the zoom tool to zoom in a little bit closer so that you may be more accurate with your colors. Once I have finished painting the wheels, I will then select a lighter value or color to begin painting the frame of the bike. Remember that you can adjust the size using the bracket tools on your keyboard in order to draw into hard to reach areas with the marker tool. Now that we have finished painting the frame of the bike, we can now color sample the purple color and we can now paint the seat of the bike. If you need to change the color a slightly lighter or darker value, you can go to the current color option at the bottom left hand side of your screen. Click on that, and from here you can adjust with the slider to make your color a lighter or darker value. You can also change the color too by clicking on the color spectrum. If you are ever confused on what color you actually have selected, you can use the current color option at the bottom left hand side of your screen to see what color you are currently using. We can now sample that lighter color that we selected, the warm yellow-orange, to paint the handlebars of our bike. Now that we have painted the basic colors of our bike, let's now go back to the Copic library and let's figure out what shadow color we want to use. So let's click on this one. And now we can use this color to figure out the shadows of our bike. Before we do that, let's click and zoom in just a little bit so that we can make this as accurate as possible. Notice that as I'm painting the shadows, I am painting outside of the lines. That's because afterwards we can simply use the eraser tool to fix any problems that we may have. Okay, now that we have figured out some of the basic shadows on the bike, we can now go over to the eraser tool and then we can erase any unwanted lines. So let's do that right now. Let's erase any unwanted color that we may have put down earlier. So this will ensure that our painting of the bike is nice and clean. Okay, let's zoom out and center it on the canvas a little bit, and we now have a finished bike. I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial, as it has showed you guys how to use some of the layer blending options, showed you guys how to use the pencil tool, the freestyle stroke tool, the line tool, the oval tool, and also the move, scale, and rotate tool. Again, my name is Kalen Chalk. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!